What's going on, everyone? We just had a drop inside of Bitcoin, but that drop has recovered quickly. As you can see right here, we're back at 116K after going all the way down here to 114.5K inside of Bitcoin. That's a really important drop, so we really got to talk about that. But anyways, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. But look, we just touched this support down here. Now, remember, I mentioned we have minor supports as well as major support areas. This was more of a minor support area, but it really got bought up really quickly. So it's almost like the one that we had back here when we went down to 116K in the first place. It got bought up really quickly, but look what happened after that. It kind of went sideways for a little bit and then dropped even more. So hypothetically speaking, if we don't have a sharp recovery right now, which personally, it kind of looks like it's about to be a sharp recovery as it is here. You can even see on the RSI, it does look like it's about to go up a little bit, but it definitely looks like a sharp recovery. Same thing could possibly be happening over here as well on the MACD. You can also see we're about to get those green candlesticks flowing in. So yeah, those green candlesticks are going to be flowing in, and that's really what's going to start making this go up a little bit higher, probably closer towards 119K, where that Fibonacci retracement is. So there's that. But remember, in my last video, I mentioned 111K is the major support area for Bitcoin right now. And if you look at it, it's because that's right where we broke our previous all-time high, and that's where we had struggle on breaking that all-time high on May 22nd, May 23rd. We had some troubles breaking it at that level. So really 111K is looking like it's going to be that level for us. So if we have a harder pullback, technically speaking, it could go down to 111K. So I'm thinking 111K is probably that area that people are going to want to look at for their, just as a support, and, not trying to buy so heavy on the dip here just because you see one dip. It looks exactly like the one that we have right here. Literally, it looks the exact same, right? They both kind of came from, different areas because this was a huge pump before that dump. And this one is just kind of trying to recover from that previous dump. That's kind of why it looks like it's going to possibly do the same thing, start breaking 119K, possibly getting up to 121, possibly seeing another drop. I don't know. Anything can happen, honestly, but it does look like it's a little bit more bearish than you would want it to be. But this is actually a good thing. You always want the opportunities to buy at a lower price. So if Bitcoin hypothetically goes to 111K, is that really an issue? It's really not, because as you can see here, it definitely needs to. It needs to pull back a little bit to build that momentum to continue to go up long term. And 111K just so happens to be where we had problems and issues trying to break out back in May 2022, or not 2022, May 22nd. And then also over here on July 10th and July 9th, we had issues trying to get past that level. So that's what we got to watch out here for Bitcoin. And yeah, just watch out for 111K. If you see it, then you're probably going to see a nice bounce back almost immediately from that 111K, or if it gets closer to 111K. But obviously, it usually doesn't do that. It's going to probably end up going up to 119K probably from here, possibly, and then having another drop. That's a possibly again. Anyways, looking over here at the prices for everything else, everything's doing, actually fairly decent for this being a drop. It's not that big of a deal because it's not that big of a drop, and a lot of people are kind of blowing it way out of proportion. So I really wouldn't be worried too much about it. We still are technically in a bull run for crypto. So these cool off periods, people get scared, but these are the periods where you want to be watching levels and getting in at those key levels. And one of those key levels for Bitcoin just so happens to be 111K. I feel like, the support at 116K, well, 114K is a little bit premature. And that's kind of a support that it just now built on itself, right? That's a new support line that we're now establishing, right? This support line wasn't ever here before because we never had any sort of rejection or any sort of support at 114K until now. Now we're able to create that as a support for future reference. So recovery should be nice from here. Like I said, possibly back up here to like 119. 100K, possibly 118. And I think we could have a harder pullback later on in the future, though, going down to 111K. So those are the levels that I'm watching right now. If I were to be, buying the dip, trying to get in at a good position. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to go over this because I didn't see anyone else talking about it. But anyways, this is all I got for y'all today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. As always, I'll be back with another video.